Hey, everybody. How's it going? Let's see. Who's here today? Oh, there's a bunch here. Okay. Wow. All right. So who's here? Andy, Davey, My Case, Dr. Cynthio, Animotion. Hi, everybody. Jeff. Let's see. Helical Coil. Nice. The Wookiee. Who am I missing? Am I missing anyone here? I see Garen. I feel like Romper Room. Who's in the magic mirror today? Let's see. Today we are working in C for Andy. C, not major. Dorian Sharp 4, which is kind of Arabian, like the Jafar scale, right? Get your Disney villain going there. Hey, Synth Fun, Quattro Pagina, Biscuit, Chris Copeman. Nice. No Wi-Fi in the woods. Starlink is amazing. Okay. I don't go camping. I don't even go glamping. Me and camping, we don't get along. So I like to spend a day in the woods, see nature if the weather's nice. But the mosquito bumpers on the ends, that's not my thing. So interesting intro today. Yeah, thanks. So today rather than, if you didn't see the note I posted to the community, it's not going to be a ton of performance, like vibing performances today where you trip out or just sort of chill and I perform. Today I want to talk about production a little bit. I had gotten some questions about song structure, not like what is song structure, but specifically with what I do. How do I make songs? Because I put an EP out last week and I'm happy with it. And I got some feedback that was like, hey, I've seen you work on the push. I've seen you do jams. What do you do when you want to make something with a song? You know, A, B, A, bridge, chorus, whatever. Verse, bridge, chorus, etc. So I'm just going to show you guys how I do that, specifically in my rig, which is going to be involving some Ableton. But basically, it's still jamming. I jam my parts. So I'll jam an A part, and then I'll stop, and then I'll jam a B part, and then I'll stop, and then I'll see if those two things fit together. But we'll talk about that. So throw questions in the chat as needed. As interested, I should say. And if you come mostly to like vibe out, you can stick around, but I don't know how much music there'll be for vibing. As far as like long, 10 or 15 or 20 minute sections, probably not so much. So feel free to take off. Let's see. Who else is here? Harmonic Sonics. Hey there. I sing the Body Electric. Hello. Saw some of you earlier today. Atos Z. Hey there. All right. Man with beard. Nice. Let me turn on the chat. Pay attention to all the chat. Okay. All right. So what do I do here? So let's just talk about, we're in C, Dorian Sharp 4, which sounds like, okay. So that fourth is sharped. Normally Dorian is, and this is up, which gives us a nice, right? What is it? Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, what is it? Scooby-Doo. That's the mystery sound. Okay. So that's what we're working in today. So let's see. You vibe out to the light show. Thanks, Joe. Oh, hey, Joe. Glad you made it. Joe is also a camper. You guys should talk to him. He loves to camp. Anyway, so that's what we're working in. And from a sound perspective, our bass. I pulled out the Minotaur. Which I do love the Minotaur. It's just real. It's a single. I'm only using one oscillator. And it's real flat and mellow. And I'm liking that as just being able to lay things underneath, right? Songs are supposed to have a strict structure. No, they're not, but some people like it that way, right? That's where you've been going wrong? Okay. Well, I'm just talking about parts. So if you want to tell a story, I like to tell stories from a musical perspective. Stories generally have some emotional curve in it. And you can do that with a jam in a key that really never moves its tonal center. You can do that by changing timbres, changing rhythms, bringing stuff in and out, bringing energy levels up and down. There's lots of ways to do that. But if you listen to the music I actually release as opposed to stuff I jam, I like to have sharp changes in direction. And to do that, you need sections, right? You don't have to have sections, but that's the way I do it. And so let's talk about that. My ideal camping trip is in a hotel room, Animotion says. I absolutely agree. You guys, we can go camping together, but what'll happen is I'll leave when the mosquitoes come out. I'll find a nice hotel room. I'll put on, A&E or whatever, the first 48, all those crime drama things that are on when you're in the hotel room. And I'll have a nice little dinner. I'll go and I'll get coffee and donuts, and I'll show up back at the campsite as soon as the overnight mosquitoes have gone away, and I'll bring coffee and donuts. That's how I camp. So if you want to invite me camping, it's got to be near a hotel, and you only see me during the day. All right. So the Taurus. And then we've got the Mini Moog playing some very classic sounds. We've got the Hydra playing a pad. Little Boards of Canada-esque. The Hydra synth. Then got a few pads here. So from a song perspective, I like to have a couple basses, a couple pads, a couple plucks, and at least one lead. So we've got the mod wave providing us another pad. We have the op 6. Sort of a more stringy pad, less vocal. Like the Hydra's that's a wind instrument, maybe a voice, fluty, or mellotron kind of. But that's more string oriented. And then I've got a couple plucks. What instrument is this? Oh, this is a Micro Freak. Most of the instruments that I use most often are things that I can control remotely through MIDI CCs. So the Micro Freak's really good about that. So I've got this pluck on the Micro Freak, and I've got the filter cutoff mapped in. And the envelope amount. And that sounds like I'm tweaking filter cutoff, but I'm actually tweaking envelope depth, right? So you still get the full close of the filter, but you can pull the energy level down by dialing back this sort of initial pluck. So. Hey, Bass Bus. Welcome. All right. Audrey, hey there. Okay, you guys keep talking about camping. Entertain yourselves. And then I have one more pluck that's a hollow pluck. With a lot of delay and almost no reverb on that. You know what this scale is? Dorian Sharp 4 is television show cop mystery drama. That's what it is. They're trying to solve the crime. That's like forensics. That's the forensic scale, right? The pluck is this one, the pluck. I'm sure that somewhere in the Micro Freak there's a preset that sounds like this, but I made this yesterday when I was sitting on the couch with the Microfreak, actually. It is the Supersaw oscillator and low pass filter. Turn it down, turn up the envelope depth, and make it a Berlin School pluck, but using the Supersaw oscillator. And then the delay is in Ableton because no effects, right? So that's what it is. It's easy to make. It's pluck night. We got a bunch of stuff. Audrey, you came in late, so we've got the Minotaur. That should be not too loud, but anyway. So yeah, tonight we're going to do song structure. So I've got these instruments, and we're in Dorian Sharp 4, which is the mystery sort of sound. And how do I do song sections? I do them the way I do everything. So if you follow the video I did on how to do Berlin School, like the really simplified one with like 6 steps, that's what I do. I just rinse and repeat for different sections. All right. So in Ableton here, I've got scenes, right? And I treat each scene like a section. So this will be, one scene will be a verse, and the other scene will be a chorus, or, part A, part B, as many parts as I want. And when I'm working on music, I just wing it. I just jam out a thing, right? And that's a scene. And then I stop and I go, okay, let's do another scene that's different from the one I just did. When I'm doing a long form jam, it's hard to, you can sort of move through different sort of emotional levels, energy levels. But it's hard to move the tonal center unless you're doing something like global transposition, or you really think ahead to what you're doing from a harmony perspective, and you can move some instruments, keep some instruments sort of stationed at the first sort of tonal center, like on the root, and then you start layering things in that move it out away from the root, and so you get to this point where it's like transitional, and then you bring out the root stuff, you take it out, and you sort of resupplement it on the new tonal center. But my music theory and harmony skills are not that good, so I stop. I literally make a section that's in one area tonally, and then I stop and say, okay, that's part A, and then I do another one. So it's easier to demonstrate. So let me lay down a little thing. And we're just going to do it live looping. So I'm going to lay down some plucks, then I'm going to put some chords over it, then I'm going to bass over it, and maybe a lead, and that'll be section 1. All right, so let's do this. All right, so we're scoring our cop drama. Yeah, that'll work. Let's see, what was I doing? All right, so we've got this pattern. I'm going to talk through this. I am a talker. I'm going to do stream of consciousness as we do this. So that's why I said if you're really here for the vibe stuff, I'm not going to be doing any extended music stuff. So if you came to just chill and listen, you're going to hear my voice a lot. So feel free to skedaddle. Which was my son's first curse word when he was 5. He was angry with his mother, and he shook his fist at her. She was so angry. And he knew he was going to say a bad word, but he didn't know any yet, so he told her to skedaddle. Anyway. All right, so let's lay on top of this. Nope. Too loud. And too sharp. All right. What do we want to do with this? So that's recording. Now I can play with the envelope depth on it. I've got a timing issue. Hang on a second. Clean that up. All right, now I'm going to automate the filter sweep a little bit, the envelope depth. So that'll come in and out. Let's put some chords over it. Missed it. So those chords are playing, everything is in 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But the chords I did over 4. And so they actually get cut off. So if we count the chords out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I did it in 7. I just fell into 7. All right, so there's that. Let's see, question. Do you find Ableton makes song structure easy? Yeah. I mean, because it has scenes, right? So you have tracks of instruments and then scenes of clips that are related, right? And you can have multiple scenes that are the same piece of the song structure. So you could have, and scenes are variable length, right? So you can make a 32 bar or a 4 bar or a 128 bar scene that is a verse, right? Or a verse that plays 4 times, right? And then the next scene is a chorus, and it is whatever arbitrary length that you want it to be. Or it's more flexible. You can have variants across scenes. So you can have verse 1, verse 2, verse 3 are 3 scenes, and then chorus 1, chorus 2 are 2 scenes. Then you have a bridge and something else, you know. So it's actually very flexible. It doesn't force you to do song structure though, because you can just tell everything, stay. Wow, there's a massive truck going by my house. The bass is shaking my chest. I don't think the microphone's going to pick it up. Sorry, Audrey. Yeah. So that's true of any DAW. It's not specific to Ableton. So Bitwig or Logic or, you know, whatever you want to use. Trackers are the same way. Was built for playing live. So live was built for playing live, but it has evolved completely beyond that. It's still very conducive for playing live, but it's also great for production. And then you can take your produced piece and release it, or you could take your produced piece and then modify the set to make it playable live. And there's more than one way to skin that cat as well. So it's I like it. It's a good tool, but use whatever you like. So, all right, so this is the A part. Let's put a little bass on it. can have the torus play out that root note. Okay, so now we've got this scene. If I change this view here, so I think it's coming through on the thing, on the stream. So I've got a scene's a horizontal row in Ableton. So, and vertical rows are tracks. So think instruments go up and down, okay, and scenes go sideways. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 clips prepared, and this is my first part of my song structure. All right. So now what I'll do is I'll move down to the next scene, and you could do all this live. You could record it live too. You could live loop it, but I'm going to do it slowly and mechanically. So I'm going to go to the next scene down where everything is empty, and I'm going to record something different. Okay. So, for example, we'll do the same building pattern. I'll start with plucks. I'll put a chord on it. I'll put a bass on it. All right. So we'll start with this one though. The other pluck. Let's see. And let's get some phasing. So in this section, we're going to take the 2 pluck patterns and we'll make one 8 bars and we'll make one 7 bars. All right, so they'll start phasing against each other. So. Put another one over it. Whoops. Oh, you know what I did? I was thinking in 7 again. My gut just goes to 7. All right. Let's try that again. There's our duckas. And we'll automate this a little bit too. All right, so that'll come in and out. So we've got 2 patterns here. Do I ever use arrangement view? I do. When I go to turn these scenes into a song, I do it in arrangement view. So we might get to that. Yeah, you know what? I'll demonstrate it towards the end. We'll get through the whole process at least. It won't be a produced piece, but you'll see how we transition from scenes to arrangement view. So now I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to shorten it just a little bit. On it. And this one we're going to do it with the Rick bass. that's another bed. This is a section 2, right? And we've got them in Ableton as scenes. If you look on the push, the flashing row, this row 3, that's my current scene. And we could flip back and forth between all the scenes and just sort of audition them against each other and see, do I like the flow? So these are both, tonally, they're sort of on the root, but they have different instrumentation slightly and different patterns running. So let's flip to the other one. To the other scene now. Ready? So we can move between these. A lot of people use arrangement view primarily because it's a timeline, right? And it makes sense. It's like I'm going to record a song. It's going to be N minutes long. It's going to have these instruments in it, and I'm going to, bring stuff in and out, punch in and punch out with my stuff. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Build your song that way. That works fine. You can actually go from there back. This is a feature of live. If you have something in arrangement view and you want to perform it live and you don't want to just hit play and let it go, you can actually select segments and say, create a scene out of this. You take snapshots of the parts and it takes them and moves them into a scene. And so you can actually then go to a grid like this or whatever launchpad and launch individual parts of individual scenes that you built in arrangement view. So it goes both ways. You can build your parts and then play them into arrangement view to make a piece that you release, or you could record a piece and then it literally will chop it up however you like and turn it into a live playable version of your piece. Right? It's pretty cool. Yeah, there is Anna, there is, when you're in arrangement view, there is a create. Under the create menu, there's a thing that says capture and insert scene. And whatever you've got selected in arrangement view clips will be created of whatever length you've got selected, and then they'll be moved into session view. It's pretty cool. Let's go back to the first version. Behind it. All right, so let's change the tonal center. Let's do another section where we change the center. All right, so let me stop. All right, so now we're in our third section. Let's do something completely different from a pitch perspective. So let's start with chords, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. Do like a building, emotional sort of building thing. But we have to do it let's keep it in 3. Let's see. Let's put a little bass down. Whoop. Helps if you follow the tonal center, Luke. I'm going to noodle a bit. So part of my process is I don't have in my head exactly what I want to play. So while this is playing, I'm just going to screw around over it until I get something that I think I want to do. Let's see. So if I follow the chords, we could do that. Plucks on this now. Some longer pattern plucks. We'll do it twice as long as the other one. Up an octave. All right, and again, I want to modulate that. We're going to have the other pluck play in unison, actually. I'm going to have, sometimes you don't necessarily have to have completely different layers. So let's just duplicate that over to the other one. So that's my B section, okay? And let's put the Minotaur way down. Whoops. Oh well. Hold on. I gotta trim that. And then we gotta restart the whole pattern. So let's test now. Let's move back to the other patterns. Completely different emotional content. Right. So we haven't even put a melody over any of this yet, right? These are just beds. So let's go to our B pattern. Now let's go to our A pattern. I'm going to let that play for a second, and I'm going to go repair my Minotaur recording because I kind of screwed that up a little bit. variant. And after this, I'm going to jump to the B part to see if my Minotaur fix is good. Castanets? I don't think so. I really didn't put much effort into the rhythm today. I have big booms though. So that's it. Now, let's very quickly throw a little lead over these. Very quickly throw a little. I have no idea what I want to play for a lead here. This is total improv. I'm sorry if it sucks. That's so bad I have to start over. All right, let's try that again. Good enough. Let's fix some of the velocities real quick. I'm not going to worry about the timing. All right, let's lay a mini thing over the other pattern. Good enough, because I want to just demonstrate something. So you feel the emotional transition, right? So when you're jamming and you're just in a key and a mode, you know, that's good. And you could definitely lift people up, right? But sometimes when you're telling a story, I want to make a sharp turn. And this is a sharp, relatively sharp turn. So let's bring it all, let's kill it for a second. All right, so if we look at the clip view, this thing here, or on the screen over here, we've got these parts. We've got two variants on the second and third line, and then we've got this sort of left turn here. You want to turn this into a song that you want to release. You could just jam out on this, because you don't have to start these whole, like you could start individual clips, right? So if I, for example, started us going. We'll leave the rhythm going. I'm not going to get into the rhythm part. It's just a loop for now. So we don't have to bring it all in at once, which is what we were doing. We were flipping between these two sections, running full bore. We could just bring in one or two instruments at a time. And this is where it gets into, this is what live is meant to do from a live performance. You've got your song broken up into these scenes and clips, and you just start playing, right? But you don't have to bring it all in at once. Just do little bits. One instrument at a time. Don't have to use all of the clips in one scene with just that scene. So here on my second and third lines, I have two scenes that are harmonically in sort of the same place. They're both playing off the root. But I've got some of the pluck, one of the plucks is playing from the first one, where the other pluck's playing from the second one. Now I'm going to leave these playing, and I'm going to bring in the Minotaur bass and take out the Rick bass. And now I'm going to swap which pluck patterns are playing. All right, hey Enzo. And then I can just bring in the whole pattern all at once. Right? And I've got the lead part playing, but I could have played it myself, right? You could just flip over to instrument mode and play your parts. The nice thing about the push, and this is true of the Launchpad Pro if you use that as a control surface, if you just long press the clip view, it just comes up long enough for you to start a new pattern or a new scene. And when you let go, it goes immediately back to your keyboard mode. So you could be playing and then trigger a new one and then start playing and keep playing. So you could be soloing, take a harmonic left turn by triggering the next scene and keep soloing, right? So you could just that's how you do a performance for your audience. There's nothing wrong with using pre-recorded stuff. I don't have, lots of people do that because they want to guarantee their audience a really good performance. I'm not a huge fan of the whole lip syncing thing, but I understand if your audience came and they paid hundreds or even thousands of dollars to see you perform, there's a balance between them seeing you perform and seeing you give them a good performance, and there's like a balancing act between that, right? So, we saw Taylor Swift. There are backing tracks there, but there's also a live band, and there are elements of the live band that are real, and there are elements that are focused on the backing track. I don't know where it is, and I just accept it. Now, granted, I'm not Taylor Swift, and this is free, so you're getting warts and all. All right, so let's talk about arrangement view. This is, Anna, you had asked. So if we look at these clips, what we can do is turn on the arrangement recording stuff. And as I bring clips in, it will record it into arrangement view. Okay. So let's just do that really quick. I'm not giving a huge demo on production for how to produce a final song in arrangement view. I'm just saying, now that we've built our scenes, this is how we get them over. And I've got 10 minutes left here. So I start the arrangement view rolling, and now I can just start literally arranging. I'm arranging these clips. They're being recorded into arrangement view. You can't see it here, but part, the secondary A part. We'll let it go because repetition legitimizes, right? You play something twice, it sort of gets in your brain. It's like an earworm. I'm going to go back to the first A part. I'm just recording it there. Part. That's a little jarring, right? So, but that's okay. We're getting it into the arrangement. We can always edit the arrangement later. So an arranger isn't necessarily someone who's performing, right? So you'll see me sitting here, I'm deciding what I want to put into the arrangement. So let's move back again. Stopped the lead from playing, so it's not going into the arrangement now. Go to the B part, but without the lead. So I triggered the B part and then shut the lead clip off. So we're just getting the accompaniment there for B part. So we go through one iteration and now bring the lead back in. And I'll go to the A part without the lead, and that'll close out the arrangement of the song. We'll let this play through once, and then we'll go look at the arrangement. Just pulling some parts out, just stopping clips. And that's it. We stop our recording. All right. Stop our arrangement recording. Now in Ableton, this is going to be really small on the screen, but basically this is our arrangement view. And let me bring all these down a bit. Okay. So these are the clips we recorded. This is the, oops, hang on a second. Fix our sizing. There we go. Nope. I know how to drive it. Really, I do. Okay. Get it all on the screen there. Okay. So these are our clips. So time moves from left to right. This is just the timeline and arrangement view. And for every instrument, it shows which clip of these clips here, like two purple bass clips. Here's one. Here's the other. That's when they're playing. So A part, B part, A part, B part, A part. And the same is true of like the hydrosynth part. A part, short B part. What was that? Oh, A variant 2, that was A variant 1. That's B part. A variant 2, B part. Right? And that's it. So now you can go into here and edit all of these things, right? You can go in and, you started with really repetitive parts playing over. You can go in and customize all your bits, right? Do your drum fills, do your instrumentation. Do you want to do harmonic changes? You want to put a new lead in here? You can, comp out. You could comp over entire sections of this. And so that's how I work. I jam out in like jam mode, laying down clips and scenes, right? And then once I've got a body of work in sections prepared, I then flip over to arrangement view and say start recording, and I start triggering clips. and I may record something over, but generally I don't. For the first passive arrangement, I either run scenes or clips, and I say, okay, this sets down song structure: A part, B part, A part, B part, coda, whatever. And then the production begins, which is going in and saying, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to tweak things? Do I want to play with stuff? What do I do for rhythm parts? I always put the rhythm in last, generally, because I suck at it. Not a fan. And really, that's about it. All right. So, really, there's a little Uptown Funk vibe in the first clip. Thanks, Karen. Oh my God. There was a video contest at work. So I work for this company, MathWorks, and we had a contest called MathWorks Idol, where people could submit 3-minute videos, song performances. And it was very Weird Al Yankovic, where people would do spoofs of common songs, popular songs, and, rephrase the lyrics to be work related, about our products and stuff like that. It was very silly. And one of the groups did Uptown Funk, with Weird Al lyrics, and due to what I am, I end up with a lot of teams who will come to me and say, "Hey, can you help us finish this song, or can you help us mix it or master it and things like that?" I'm no mixing or mastering engineer, but I'm free and I'm available, right? So my peers come to me and they're like, "Hey, can you help us with this thing?" And one team did this Uptown Funk variant, and it was good, and they performed it well. But when you're working on it, you hear the same 8 bars like over and over and over and over again. And I can say, I don't ever want to hear Uptown Funk again. And this was probably 5 years ago, and I still don't want to hear it. So, no, I know Uptown Funk is a great tune, but yeah, I don't want to hear it. So, I sing the body letter trigger so many questions about music and DAWs that you don't have enough knowledge or even ask. That's okay. You should try, because that's the other thing I do at work. I'm really good at asking clarifying questions. So if you have a question, I don't understand what you're asking, we'll work through it. But whatever, put comments in the video or put comments on the live stream. It doesn't matter. This is not the only way to do it. This is the way I do it. That's all. And if it resonates with you, groovy. Really, that's about it. So that's been an hour, and it's Sunday. I've got a few things I need to do around the house for my wife. There's some furniture that needs moving because she's rearranging the guest room and her office and all that good stuff. Google's Uptown Funk. Just search on YouTube, search for Uptown Funk. You'll get a lot of versions of it. So anyway, so that's it. Thanks very much. I'm sorry, Andy, there's no fade out. No fade out today. Not a ton of performing. This was more like how-to stuff. If this was useful, great. And if it wasn't, that's okay. It's not forever, right? I will be back making some Berlin School next week. And I don't know. That's it. You guys have a great time. I will talk to you later. All right? Let's find the off button. See ya.